Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
As always, the Ramble is sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield. If you're a growing business and you want support to continue that growth, they are the people to speak to. Thank you for John and the team for their continued support for the Ramble. Today's Ramble is sponsored by Wellstoned Landscapes. From lawn to luxury, creating outdoor elegance. Wellstoned Landscapes covers most areas of Yorkshire. If you mention the Ramble when asking for a quote, you'll receive 10% off any work. Call Paul or find him on Facebook in the details below. What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. This is the warm-up. I'm going to show you what the art of multitasking is about tonight because I've got the Leeds game on. And I'm sure some of you guys may have the Leeds game on as well at the same time. Currently, it's Leeds United 1, Norwich 0. So they've gone back above us in the table in live gameplay. But here come Norwich on the attack. It's not a watch-along tonight, but here they come. And no, it's a poor shot wide of the goal after 17 minutes. But I tell you something. Watching this game, it just reaffirms what I think. And I'm not going to go back to the game at Elland Road because I can't do it to myself. But Leeds are very, very good. Probably the best attacking team in the league. And I think that's obviously debatable. That's subjective. It's an opinion. But I can make several arguments to say why they are the best attacking side in the league with the depth that they have and the quality that they have going forward. I think they control the middle of the park as well in midfield. They've got some really good depth in there as well. I think the defence is dodgy. I don't think they're anywhere. And look, the record speaks for itself, but I think that's more because they dominate the ball further forward. So they don't concede as much XG and stuff like that. But I definitely think this defence, particularly with Ampadu in there, as opposed to Rodon. Ampadu's not a central defender, we know that. Meslier is an absolute liability. This team can be got at. They are not impenetrable. They're not unbeatable. But they're very, very, very strong going forward, I would say. And that's what's led them to success so far. But this is not about Leeds per se. It's obviously that whatever happens in their game does affect us. So that's why we keep an eye on it. I will be doing a watch-along of the Leeds and Burnley game on Behind the Ramble. So if you're not already following us over there, then please do. I'm going to see if George fancies jumping on with me, actually, just because of his unbelievable... Oh, what's this? What's this? New bit of Ramble merch. New bit of Ramble merch. Keep it Ramble for some of that. So, yes... Look at that nice little sticker in the background. Just a bit of a tease there as to it's not a new logo. It's just a little bit of something else that we're experimenting with. I'm experimenting with. So this is about United, isn't it? We've done our debrief on Swansea. What an absolutely horrific first half of football that was. We also lost Hamer for 2 games due to a second yellow. A yellow card, a 10th yellow card of the season, which means he misses the next 2 games. So he's out for this game and he's out for Derby away. I think it is next after this, which I should have already had in my mind, to be honest. But yes, it's Derby away on Saturday the 1st. So yeah, it's, you never want to miss your best player, do you? And I think he is potentially our best player. But if there is a time to lose him, it's certainly those games as opposed to Leeds at home, Borough at home. Here come Norwich into the box, right-hand side, and it's cleared by Leeds United. Okay. So, how are we all feeling tonight? Are we confident about Hull? Do we know a lot about Hull? Normally with these things, I will ask somebody from the opposition to give us a bit of a rundown. We had that the last time we played Hull. It was a very quick turnaround from Swansea to Hull, and I've not been able to get anybody from the Hull side of things to give us a rundown. And when that happens, we bring in our boy, don't we? We ask our man, the main man, the Mountie. I'm the Mountie. The man Mountain, Paul Mountain, for a view from the mountain.
This is a view from the mountain with a heart so pure it's astounding. Man, mountain storming through. What a man, what a view.
Good evening, Ramblers. I'm here to give you your preview for Hull City following our roller coaster down in Wales. Okay, hopefully we can carry some of that second half intensity into this game against Hull on Friday night under the lights at beautiful downtown Bramall Lane. We welcome the Tigers, Hull City, who haven't quite had the season that we've had so far at the moment. They're on 26 points for the season. That is not a great tally. Level on points with Pompey and our former colleagues in the Premier League, Luton Town. So if you think Hull are having a bad season, Luton definitely are having a bad season. Okay, Plymouth down a little bit adrift on 21 points down there at the bottom. So they are very much in a relegation dogfight. Whereas our mighty Blades sit top of the table at time of recording, I should add. The first place, Leeds playing tonight and can leapfrog us with a victory tonight. But I'm not too worried about that, okay, because I've been looking at the league. 58 points acquired for our beautiful Blades, and we are a cool 17 points ahead of West Bromwich Albion in 7th place in the division, which would suggest if we can replicate anything like the form that we've had so far, then we should be on for a very exciting end to the season. And let's hope it's in those autos and not in our most hated playoffs. So let's have a look at the form of Hull. This is a bizarre sheet of form that Hull have been on recently. They have lost recently to QPR, the most recent game last night, but they have a real strange set of results. They've won away at Millwall, which we know is a tricky place to go. They've also drawn at home to Doncaster and lost on pens in the Cup. We don't know how good the team was. I'm not really interested. They went out the Cup. They probably needed to, like we did. They then had a 3-3 draw at home with Leeds United. As we basked in the glory of that, the 2 late goals and Connor's breakdown on the back of it on the 4th of Jan.
He's going to fumble it and it's going to be 3-3. If they get this right, ball in. He flaps, doesn't get to it. Kamara, 3-3. Had to be him, didn't it? Had to be him. I'm getting clipped up for this guy, mate. I'm getting clipped up for him.
They've lost at home to Borough 1-0, which is very, very doable. They've been and beaten Blackburn just before New Year's away 1-0, and they lost to Preston on Boxing Day. So a real mixture there. Obviously picking out the big results, 3-3 against Leeds. They've obviously been and beaten Millwall away, and they've beaten Blackburn away, who are also challenging for the playoffs. So it's a real mixed bag from their point of view and ours. Players that we might know and we've seen and might look out for. João Pedro sounds very good. I don't think he's the one we're thinking of, but he's their top goal scorer with 5 goals this season. They've also got Joe Gelhardt, an ex-Leeds player, which I don't like the sound of. Playing in their team, and he scored in the last game as well to get his first goal for them. So don't like the sound of that. I don't want him helping out any of his former colleagues against the Blades on Friday night. They've just made a new signing, a player called Kyle Joseph. He's a striker as well. £2.5 million from Blackpool. He scored 8 in 24 in League One, so it's not quite the same. So we don't know how that's going to transfer. They've got a new manager, Ruben Sellers, the Spaniard. You're formerly in charge of Southampton and Reading. Come in recently on the 18th of Jan, so that fresh manager bounce is very much and can be in play if he's been getting into him in the training grounds. A few that we might recognise: Carl Rushworth in goal, who we think we've identified as a decent keeper at this level. They've got Regan Slater, ex-Blades youth player. Handful of first team appearances for Regan Slater at Bramall Lane. He's gone on to Hull and forged himself a decent career over there, so I'm sure the Blades fans will welcome him back. They've also got a young man called Harry Vaughan, who was their shining star in the last game that they played. Hull, like I said, they replaced the manager. They sacked Tim Walter. I didn't want to do anything into him. He had 17 games in charge of Hull. They're in the relegation zone with him. I doubt we'll see him again anytime soon. And obviously before that they had Liam Rossini, who they sacked as well. So it seems like a bit of a difficult chairman to please potentially, and we don't want to give him any ammunition to be satisfied the Blades. BBD to start the next game. We'll wait and see on Tom Cannon. Very exciting times for the Blades, and I'm sure the atmosphere will be rocking under the lights. Let's get the bloody noise going. United fans, I'm going to come down and hopefully see some of you in Triple Point before the fixture on Friday night. Come on, you red and white wizards. Up the Blades, up the Ramble.
This is a view from the mountain with a heart so pure it's astounding. Man, mountain strong and true. What a man, what a view.
Man Mountain, strong and what a guy. What a guy Man Mountain is. Just again, I like to let you into some of the behind the scenes stuff with the Ramble, which is the whole point of the Behind the Ramble channel, which once we get up and running properly with it, if you want to go and support us over there, there'll be loads of little tidbits. But just so you're aware, it's my girl's birthday today. I've got twin girls. They're 9 years old today, Sophie and Emily. Happy birthday, girls. And I hope you've had a brilliant day. I know that they've just done themselves today because they've been spoiled by the family as usual. Thank you to everybody that's sort of helped us out. But they were in our bedroom at 5:30 this morning. So around this time, this is why it's a slightly later Ramble. We've just finished the night off playing Herd Mentality, I think it's called. So yeah, and when Daddy wins, everybody cries. So never mind, apart from Daddy, obviously. So I asked Man Mountain when it looked like the whole game, the whole boys weren't going to pull through with the rundown because it's tight turnaround. So I understand people are busy and it's hard to do. And I don't always give people a lot of notice, unfortunately. I certainly didn't with Man Mountain. I asked him last minute. In fact, I think it was around lunchtime today, and he works obviously. So he was like, I can do your recorded one quick at like 5 o'clock. So he sent me one through as soon as he could. And then I were going out for a meal at 5. So I were getting daggers as I was trying to sort of half upload stuff and edit a little bit. And then I've come home between meal and Herd Mentality. I was editing that down. It's just been a bit of a mad rush. So apologies. That might not have been as polished as we'd usually like it, but he's done a great job and he gets better every time, Man Mountain. So thank you again, mate. You've done us a real solid there by jumping on and helping us out again. And it's nice to get a little bit of understanding as to what the opposition's gonna look like, because I certainly didn't have time to have a look at that today. Leeds still 1-0 up. Just heard in the Ramblers chat that Burnley have gone 1-0 up as well. A nice goal from Josh Brownhill. Josh Brownhill's been involved somehow because everybody's saying what a player. He is a very good player. In comments tonight, Danny starts us off. I'd go Gilchrist, Anel, Robbo, Burrows as your back four. Peckham, Brooks as centre midfield. Sariki right. Brereton Diaz left. And O'Hare behind Campbell up top unless Raksaki's available. Interesting that. We have to start the game better than we did last night. Says Sam, absolutely. That's a no-brainer, Sam. You're absolutely right, pal. Ricky, hi, Jimmy. Where are our players? Incomings as well. We are our players. And incomings as well as 37 points, 95 points, which should see us over the line. Can we get it? Certainly not this far out. I'm not one for saying get to this points total. We're on 58 at the minute. I know we've accrued 60. We're on 58. I think there's 18 games left. So what's that? 52 points up for grabs. If we continue 2 points a game, 18-2 is the 36. So if we get another 36 points, yeah, it's doable, isn't it? It's doable with 2 points a game, but I do think 93 points will win us the league, says Ricky. It looks to me, though, like 4 teams, well, it's no-brainer to say this, but 4 teams are pulling away out there for a two-spot race. So the points tally could end up quite high if we keep pushing each other, because looks like Leeds and Burnley might pick up 3 points tonight. Us and Sunderland picked up 3 points last night. It just looks like 4 teams are a lot better than the rest of the league at the moment, certainly this season. Obviously, with Hamer out, we've got Diaz on the left. Got to start Diaz on the left, says Danny. Got to get a result from this, Jimmy, as teams around us are winning and Hull are struggling to get results at the moment. Ruben Sellers is a decent manager, though, and I know they've been patchy. Man Mountain's just talked about their really patchy form. But, yeah, I like him as a manager. He will get it right eventually. We've just got to hope that... Will Tom Cannon be in before then? Will a centre midfielder be in before then? I'm going to go into my Born to be Wilder, which has definitely had no editing at all this time. I've just got a team picture for you as to what team I would pick. But yeah, I think I'm going to work on worst case scenario, but there's always the chance. Hamza Chowdhury is being heavily talked about. John Joe Kenny's being talked about. And obviously Tom Cannon is the one that's closest from what I understand. I wouldn't have been surprised to see him unveiled today, but it must be tomorrow. Keep it Ramble, because we will be live when Tom Cannon, if and when Tom Cannon's revealed. Helen says, seen on Sky Sports, Brighton have recalled Carl Rushworth from his loan, so won't be available to play on Friday. Bit of an air grab there. That's good. That's good news, because he just started to feature in their side under Sellers. He wasn't featuring under Volta, Tim Volta. It was Pandev. So obviously I think it's Pandev. He'll come straight back in. A good keeper at this level, been playing an awful lot. So it's small margins, that, to be honest. But Carl Rushworth is a very good goalkeeper. Good news, that, Helen. Obviously, Man Mountain, he only recorded it 3 hours ago, and it's already out of date. So that's how I think quickly these things can happen, isn't it? Looks like we'll need to play Raksaki and Souza from the off, says Bladesman from the lane, against the Tigers on Friday night. I'm sure Campbell could start, looking at how lively he was last night. I don't know if they'll be fit enough to start, to be honest, because I did think about this in my team. How do you... I don't know. It's a big ask, isn't it, to throw him in from the start. Evening, Jimmy, says Beast Boy, hope you're all right. Brewster has to start. No ifs, buts, or maybes. He has to start. I get Campbell played well, but Rian was excellent. Be interesting, won't it? In fact, we'll go to my team in a minute. Needs to put Brooks in the middle, not Burrows. He needs to stay at left back, but we need the rest of the signings in now. I did not like Harrison Burrows, and I love Harrison Burrows, but I did not like him in centre midfield. Soon as he went to left back, he had a much more impactful game. And who would have thought that? With obviously, it's much easier to influence the game from centre midfield than it is from left back, but he impacted the game so much more from his natural left back position than he did in centre midfield. Jimmy, I'm really finding it hard to think of reasons why Moore would be higher in the pecking order than Brewster. Moore just isn't good. It's opinions, pal. I would be playing Moore ahead of Brewster in usual circumstances if both players were fit. However, Brewster's just turned a bit of a corner with his form, so I'm all for keeping the shirt if you've earned it, if you've earned the shirt. So if Moore is fit for this game, for example, I don't think he will be. But if Moore is included in the squad, I don't think he gets in front of Brewster at the moment. I think we certainly give him more time to recover. But yeah, I think when everybody, if this was starting from a standing start in pre-season, and we had Tom Cannon, Tyrese Campbell, Kiefer Moore, and Brewster's number 4, isn't he? He is for me anyway. Evening, Jimmy, says David. Hope you're well. I am, thank you, mate. Hope you are too. Up the Ramble, up the Blades. Like and subscribe, please. Thank you, mate. Okay, right. Let's get to my team. And as I say, there's no fancy graphics this time because I've had 2 9-year-olds running around my ankles all day. But I won't have it any other way, to be honest. So, can we even get... Yes, we can. Let's go for a bit of this.
Born to be wild.
Tell.
Right, so this is Born to be Wilder. This is where I tell you what team I would play, not what I think Wilder will play. This is the team I would play. And as I said before, I've gone on worst case scenario. Still 1-0 leads, by the way. I've gone on worst case scenario. No centre midfielders have come in. No new centre midfielders have come in. Vinny and Raksaki aren't fit to start. Tom Cannon hasn't been announced and ready in time. So this is going to be my team that I play against Hull on Friday night. I'm going Michael Cooper in goal. I'm going to start Femi Siriki. I think with the cameo that I'm a big Alfie Gilchrist fan, and I think this is harsh on Alfie. But with the cameo that he had and the impact that he had coming off the bench against Swansea, I think you've got to play him. And I think in a game where we're expected to dominate the ball and we will be the side with the most attacking intent, you would hope, at home, judging by the positions in the league as well, Siriki has done enough to impress and get a start, I think, ahead of Alfie Gilchrist, who can consider himself slightly unfortunate to drop out at this stage. Anel and Jack Robinson in the middle, as usual. Still not 100% convinced by this pairing. I didn't think Anel had the best of games against Swansea. I thought first half he looked all over the shop at times. But at the moment, without any reinforcements, this is the strongest pairing that we've got. So let's hope for another clean sheet like they were last time at home. And fingers crossed they do us a job on Friday night. I'm sure they will do. Harrison Burrows goes back to his favourite position and favoured position that we all seems to flourish in, to be honest. And that is left back for Sheffield United. In the middle, I've made a difficult decision here because we are really thin on the ground. No Vinny Souza, no Ollie Arblaster, no Tom Davis, no new signing. As I say, I'm working to worst case scenario. So Andre Brooks comes in for a very youthful, I think Shackleton's obviously injured as well, which Wilder talked about. Andre Brooks comes in on the left-hand side of the two, Sidney Peck on the right. And we're going to have to rely on their athleticism and agility because I'm hoping this isn't where we're seen to be quite vulnerable by the opposition. They could potentially dominate us in here. We saw it the other day with Burrows and Peck. Burrows obviously out of his natural position, but we've seen Burrows and Peck get turned over quite easily by Swansea in there. Hopefully Andre Brooks, who is, before this season, has always been a centre midfielder. So fingers crossed he can just drop in there quite naturally. Going forward is where we're looking stronger as well. As Brooks has moved inside and Raksaki, in my eyes, will not be starting, Ryan Brewster deserves to keep his shirt. I think he is more flexible than Campbell. I think Campbell makes a more telling impact up top. So Ryan Brewster is the one that comes out onto the right-hand side. It may be that if Wilder goes with this 11, he may move Brewster into the 10 or even 4-4-2, and we see Callum O'Hare come out wide on the right. But Callum O'Hare in the 10 has been doing a superb job recently, so he stays in the 10 for me. Ben Brereton-Diaz makes his first start since his return to Sheffield United, and he's going to be a huge asset to us going forward. I know he didn't have quite the impact we were hoping for the other night, but I thought he looked fairly lively, put himself about a little bit, and now he's greased the wheels a little bit. Let's hope that he can make a true impact on Friday night. It'd be unbelievable to see Winnie Brereton-Diaz getting off to a goal-scoring start at Bramall Lane. And Tyrese Campbell, the man who looked on fire when he came on. And look, Brewster had a very good game. Brewster ended up with man at match, so I don't want to take anything away from Ryan. And I do know that people have been down on him in recent times, me included. But I thought Sariki and Campbell's impact particularly changed the game on against Swansea. So on Tuesday night. So Campbell makes my team. And I think, you know, defence, it's a little bit, we've got two very attack-minded fullbacks there, which I really like. I think it allows us to press high. And I think beyond the makeshift centre midfield pairing, which are two centre midfielders, by the way, we can't get lost on that, but it's quite a youthful centre mid. I'd much prefer us to bring a signing in before the game, but hey ho. But that front four, and with Brewster in form as well, I include him in this. I think he's really good, really strong going forward. So let's get back to the comments then. Let me know what you think about that team. Would you play a similar team? Do you have any changes to that? I'm happy to take your comments. Jimmy, have you heard anything about any centre midfielders except Charles? Because it's taking a bit of time. Taking a bit of time. Everything's taking a bit of time, isn't it, Beast Boy? But it's worth taking the time to get the right deals done. So I'm not concerned with that. I think we are very light in centre midfield for Friday, but the next game we play, and I'm not sure if it's the closing date of the transfer window, but the next game we play is Derby on the 1st. So this is the last game we play where we won't have reinforcements, the vast majority of our reinforcements in place. So get through with this game, get a positive result, and it doesn't matter how long it's taken because we've got 9 points in the last 3 if it goes to plan. So I've not heard of anything imminent. I think Chowdhury is the most likely of the 3 mentioned, and the 3 mentioned is Chowdhury, Shea Charles, and Tommy Doyle. But I think Chowdhury is the most likely, to be honest. Leeds 1-0 after 31 seconds, says Scott. Norwich are great, aren't they? I know. It's still 1-0, to be fair. 40 minutes and 31, 32 on the clock as I'm watching. Thoughts on the Blades bid for Charles? Seems we're going head to head with the Pigs, but seemingly the Pigs are willing to overpay with a big loan fee. I don't mind that, to be honest. Like, it's a bonus if Southampton call him back, and it's even more of a bonus if we get him. But if we are going to make the Wendy's pay 250 grand, 500 grand more than they would have done, then it's a win in it, I think, because he's not going to be their player at the end of the day. They will get relegated, and they will use Shea Charles in their side next season. Hamza Chowdhury is a great sign. Don't overlook Hamza Chowdhury just because you're seeing other probably slightly bigger names like Shea Charles and Tommy Doyle being mentioned. Hamza Chowdhury is a beast at this level. Good news, Sousa and Raksaki should be back, so well needed. Get them some minutes in, says Jack. Yeah, I think if you look at this team, again, a little bit like happened... sorry, Jack, I'll take your comment off just so as not to block the screen. But a little bit like happened against Swansea, you've got to think there's the potential here to bring Vinny Sousa on, Jezrin Raksaki on, and Tom Cannon on. So, again, although it might not be the absolute formidable side that we're hoping for come the end of the window, that still looks a decent side that can get stronger from the bench. So, I'm positive. Obviously, we can bring Alfie Gilchrist on as well. Say we go 2-0 up and we're trying to protect the Leeds. We can protect Sariki a little bit, bring him off on 60, 70 minutes if we've got a couple of goal cushion. Alfie Gilchrist sees the game out nice and cool and calm. Saint says, if we make the house pay big, that's a win in itself. Well said, pal. Great minds and all that. Let me show the sponsors some love because I took that. You take it off when you put something else up on the screen. So, BBD surely starts next time out, says the Saint. I agree. He's got to start, particularly looking at how thin we are in other places. Evening, pal. Chowdhury training with Leicester today, so can't be as close as we think. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Please like and subscribe. We'll see. We'll see, Liam. We'll see, mate. Fingers crossed there. Jack says, get that boy Sariki starting and Big Ty. Other than that, keep the same. Too soon for Vinny and Raksaki to start. Jack's on my wavelength with that. Sorry, evening, Jim. Hope you're well. I am, pal. Hope you are too. Up the Blades. Up the Ramble. Evening, Blades, the midfield, or lack of it, concerns me for Friday, says Dave the Nose. I've got fingers, toes, and other things crossed. Vinny is back fit. Sariki and Campbell to start, please. Cheers. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. What a guy. Dave the Nose. He really knows. Scott says, you've gone live on Twitter and not YouTube for me. What? Oh, never mind. Thanks, Scott. Thanks for just suddenly panicking me there, but it's good. Immediate recovery, so we can still be pals. Evening, Jimmy. Hope you and the family are all good. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Thank you, James. Hope you are too, pal. Do you think Hamer played for a yellow card last night? Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. I think he might have done, you know, Craig. I don't like to mention this, and I don't like to talk about the dark arts, if you like. But it looked like he was diving in, didn't it? It looked like a couple of occasions. Swansea have put the full match on their YouTube channel, says S. All right, okay. Why would they do that? They've been hammered. They haven't got hammered, to be fair. They could have just put the first half on, couldn't they? And then, you know, that's all they need to watch because they were very good. We were awful. And it's interesting because I watched both managers after the game, both managers' interviews. Obviously, you always get the bias towards their own. Luke Williams was saying they should have had a penalty first half. I can understand that. Maybe Reece should have had a red card in the first half. Can understand that claim. He didn't think it were a red card. I don't agree with him there. He didn't think it was a penalty to Sheffield United, or he wasn't sure whether it was. And obviously, I think it was a Stonewall penalty. Wilder comes out saying it's a definite red card, blah, 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 all this sort of thing. But I've lost my point that I'm going to make on this. Anyway. But it's interesting to see the different perspectives. I know Swansea fans were thinking ref were appalling. We've got a qualified referee in our Platinum chat who let us know that the referee had a very strong game yesterday. It's amazing how differently different people see it. But again, what we're going to that's what we're going to say. We were very. Let's not get it twisted. We were very poor, which is what Wilder was saying. We were shocking first half, but you can't take that away from Swansea, who were very good as well. It's not a case of we made Swansea look good because we were rubbish. They played well and we played poorly. We were very lucky to go in just 1-0 down. Very lucky. And the fact that we did meant that we were close enough to turn it around second half. Fair play to Wilder. Some might criticise for the original team selection. Some will rightly praise, I believe, for the change at half-time. Very brave. 3 substitutions did the trick. So whatever happens, we got out with 3 points. But sometimes it's 6 of one, half dozen other, and it's somewhere in the middle, isn't it? Jack says, Hull aren't anyone to sleep on or underestimate. We got ran through first half last night, so that midfield needs to be sorted and picked correctly. Who do you pick, though, Jack? Who are you picking? Because it's really tough, like Dave says. It's really, we're so thin in midfield. Avril says, hey up, Blades Ramblers. Hey up, Avril. Hope you're well. Thanks for joining us tonight. Rich says, evening, Jimmy. Still can't believe our second half was so different last night. Need to start strong Friday night and keep the foot to the floor, up the Blades, up the Ramble, and behind the Ramble. Thank you, pal. No. O'Hare was the best player. Is the best. I think Gus is the best player in our squad. But again, it's good that. How good is it that we can have an argument over who's the best player in our side? You know, it's not. We're not a one-man team, are we, by any stretch? You'd look at Burnley. I personally would look at Burnley and say Josh Brownhill is their main man. A lot of Sunderland fans, if you listen to the outside media, Sunderland fans will know better. But anybody looking at Sunderland from outside in will say, well, Joe Bellingham has to be their best player because he's getting all the interest. Nobody says that about one of our players. It's always 1 or 2 or 3. You could argue Michael Cooper's up there in conversation. Hi, Jimmy. Hope you're well. I am. Thank you, Jeff. Hope you are too. First time I've made a live for a long time. Thank you for joining me, mate. Looking forward to the rest of the season. Like and subscribe. Thank you, mate. It wasn't easy at Hull, but expect to win at home. I expect us to win this game, Saint. I do. 4-1 on Friday, says Jamie. Up the Blades. Nige says it's half-time at Leeds, and it's 1-0 to them. I don't know how Burnley are doing, but I assume since we've not heard anything, it's still 1-0, and we'll just check in on that while we're looking at the scores. Nige says, good evening, pal. Hope you're well. It's got to be the second half team for me to start, obviously without Hamer, so hopefully Sousa and Are you putting Sousa in already? Do you not think that's a bit of a risk, Nige? Up the Blades, up the Ramble, up behind the Ramble, he says. So Burnley are 2-0 up. 2-0 up at Plymouth. So that's them winning into. They've won that game. Wendy's are winning 1-0 and all at home to Bristol. And in other game, Portsmouth are beating Stoke City 2-1 at half time. So results aren't going our way tonight, but it's about what we do, isn't it? It's not about what other teams do. We've not been bothered about what other teams have done all season, and look where we are. We are firmly in automatic places. I know Leeds look likely to leapfrog us again tonight, but we've accrued more points than them. We've been a better side than them over the season. Big game coming up into it. When they come to Bramall Lane, oh my goodness me. Daz says, morning, Jimmy. I'm looking forward to another 3 points tomorrow. I'm fully on board the Man Mountain bandwagon. Good lad. Good lad. I love Man Mountain's positivity. He's been on it all season, to be fair to him. I'd have been surprised if Leeds hadn't been winning carrot munchers are rubbish, as they proved on Sunday. I was just hoping for a little bit more. And I don't think Norwich are out of this yet. They've got Sargent on the bench. I think if they bring him on a little bit earlier than they did against us, they waited too late. I thought when we were 1-0 up, they were about to bring Sargent on, and then we won the penalty and went 2-0 up, and he sat down for another 5 or 10 minutes. I thought, well, I says to Eki Outsal, and she was saying, same, white flag. That's why they're giving up now. Well, he came on it anyway, didn't he? And he didn't do loads, but he's their main man. So if they get him on, 55, 60 minutes, they've got a puncher's chance. And I say it's a puncher's chance because Leeds are very, very good going forward, as we've said. But I think there's gaps at the back. When are we announcing Cannon, Jim? You'll probably see me tomorrow, John, is all I'll say. Probably tomorrow, I would have thought. Another fine coming up for the Blades after the sending off for the Swansea player, all pushing and shoving. And where is if Cannon can? Okay, thanks, Chris. Yeah, fine coming up, and we've collected those, haven't we? Too much this season. It were a red card, though, weren't it? And you expect players to be passionate. I can't see why we should be fined for that, but one of them, it never gets old. 1-0 Burnley, says Scott. It's 2-0 now, pal. That's obviously showing how far behind I am. We're well over time already. What a goal, says Sheffield United FTV. With Cannon, Campbell, BBD, Moore, Brooks, Raksaki and Brewster, with O'Hare and Hamer, that is some attacking talent now. It is, Michael. It's brilliant, isn't it? The assist from Brownhill is outrage. Or is it an assist from Brownhill? Okay. Very good. Very poor defending. No wonder they're bottom, says Dublin Blade. Happy birthday, Mini Ramblers. Thank you, Avril. Thank you. They've had a great day. Hope you rubbed it in, Jimmy. No participation trophies in the Ramble house. To be honest, you pick your battles. You pick your battles. Yeah, I didn't tonight. I needed them to go to bed peacefully. Sousa back Friday. Wilder presser in the morning, and Cannon will need to be in by 12 p.m. Cannon will need to be signed by 12. Doesn't need to be announced by 12, right? Because that's how it is, isn't it? 12 more wins. Did I say 10 yesterday? But just to make sure, says Dublin Blade. Hoping to see Vinny back for Friday, in my opinion. A good game for him to take charge of in absence of our Gus. Yeah, and there's an 8-game break after this, isn't there? Obviously, it's been a really packed little mini series now, of games. Hopefully, we can get 9 points in 9 out of 9. But we will have another 8 days to recover then, won't we? And hopefully more reinforcements. So if Vinny is anywhere near fit and can give us 60 minutes, brilliant. Feliz Cumpleaños to your young ladies from a blade in Spain. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Does that mean hello? It means happy birthday, doesn't it? Forecasts for a storm on Friday, Jimmy. Oh, that's a Brereton Diaz whirlwind. Great point, Jack. Burrow's not a natural player in the middle of the park. Such a better player off the left. Gives us so much balance from there, says Avril. I agree. Don't forget Moore penciled in for his op this week. Yep, that's right. If Brewster follows normal form, he scores a goal, then he's out for the next few games, says Neil. Come on. He's turned a corner. Let's all hope so. Anyone but Reece Norrington Davis on the team sheet again. I'd rather Helmy El Tuki dust his boots off before R&D again, says Adam. Any idea when the Tom Cannon reveal will be, pal? I'm expecting it tomorrow, Ben. I'm expecting it tomorrow, mate. I'll be surprised if it's not done. Announced in the morning. Fleming scored the Burnley goal. Thank you, Chris. Could Sariki do a job on the right wing, Jimmy? That's one for you to get your head around. Yeah, he could, right? He could. No, it doesn't need get my head around. I completely agree. I think he could. He's certainly a strong attacking threat, isn't he? I think he's got a couple of bits to work on defensively. So, again, I don't mean to pull the lad down because we love to get excited about our own, don't we? Particularly youth prospects. But to be complete, and I was talking about him being a little bit more Mika Richards-esque, he needs to work on the defensive aspect of his game. But going forward, he is an absolute beast. So, yeah, he's fit for a right wing role, isn't he? Hey, Jimmy, I like the look of that team, to be honest. Gives us options off the bench. Thank you, Avril. I disagree about Sariki starting. I think he's a huge impact player off the bench, but I hope he proves me wrong because I love his attitude and determination. I did think about that, Nigel, actually. I thought about going with Gilchrist, but how can you not? I mean, just the opinion I fell on, how can you not go with Sariki after the impact that he had? You've got to reward players for their really positive impacts, I believe. But you're right. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Wilder went with Gilchrist for the assurity and sort of safer nature of the game for the first 60 minutes. And then as they've tired, it's a nightmare, isn't it, seeing Usain Bolt, Mika Richards come off bench on 60 minutes to sprint at you. They were putting 2-3 players on him at one stage because he was just an absolute nightmare for him. And he still got through. I agree. Keep Sariki on for an impact if needed. Gilchrist to start. Yeah, I'd be happy with that as well, to be honest. I do like Alfie Gilchrist, and I think it's harsh on him to drop out. But again, I could go either way on it. But I think Sariki deserves a shout as well. You just can't sacrifice that back line to play Burrows in the middle. I agree. If we're putting Brooks in the middle, keep Gilchrist in. Rice says, I think Sousa will start. The fact that we have no choice, and I think he'll drag him off after 60 minutes, then put Burrows in centre midfield. I hope he don't put Burrows in centre midfield, right? I hope he don't. I like that team, Jimmy, says Ian. The only couple of forays into Swansea's box first half was when Brewster got to the byline and cut it back. No one there to receive it, of course. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Thank you, Gatekeeper. Just so good to see our tie up top again. Though in it, Blades, absolutely. He was great when he came on as well. I mean, he looks so sharp. Sharp as the gaffer says. Next game we play, we'll have more players. We've been saying this all window. Well, there's no choice after this, Jack, is there? Because it'll be 1st of Feb. So, Nige says, I've not heard anything about any centre midfielders for the past week. That's good, though, isn't it? That's good. We don't always need to hear about it. Jimmy, the transfer window closed on 3rd of Feb. Okay, at 11. So, come Derby, there's still a day or two to run, isn't there? There's a couple of days to run, but it's most likely we'll be almost done. 3-0 Burnley, latest at Plymouth. They're after that goal difference, aren't they? Because they're very close to us in terms of goal difference. But 3rd of Feb at 11. Thank you, Chris. Or Cannon Campbell up top, O'Hare on the right wing, and BBD on the left. Yeah, could go with that as well. I think I touched on that as well. I'm still behind, aren't I? Scott says Hamza Chowdhury doesn't look likely. He's been training with Leicester and seems happy. Seen no more links to him. Definitely need a centre midfielder to give Peck a break. I bet young lad is shattered. Yeah, absolutely, it will be. It will be. And he's the only orthodox centre midfielder. I know Brooks has played there in seasons gone by, but people have been playing in centre mid. He's our only fit one, isn't he? Is it too early for Billy Blacker? I think it probably is. Danny says, evening, Jimbo. Why does it seem like we're really struggling to get players in so far this window? Okay, we've got a not match fit Brereton Diaz, but we're absolutely on our backside player-wise. I am strongly of the belief, Danny, and look, we could criticise it more if we'd not got the results during this period, because we have been very light. But we've got the results, haven't we? 3 wins on the bounce with this depleted squad, as we recognise. But what would getting 3 signings in on the first week of the transfer window have done any better for us than get those 3 points, those 3 wins? We have done absolutely as well as we needed to do. Absolute maximum output. So long as we get the job done against Hull, the fact that we're later on in the window doesn't really affect us, does it? And also, not only that, I would rather wait and have signings miss the odd game or 2 if it's going to be a better deal for the club. We could have signed Brereton Diaz and had him fit in time to play the full game against Swansea, but we might have had to sign an obligation, or we might have had to pay a huge loan fee, downside guarantee, but we were negotiating with Southampton. Other teams were interested. So it takes time to get the right deal done. And as it turned out, yes, he wasn't match fit. He didn't have a lot of time to train with the squad, and he could only play 30 minutes because of that. But we got the 3 points, didn't we? So we didn't need him for that game, as it turned out. So it's on the current players, and it's a big ask to go and get another 3 points on Friday. But then we'll be getting the reinforcement. I'm not bothered. I'm not concerned about it, Danny. Honestly, I'm not, pal. Let's just play 4-1-5 and smash them 6-2, says Josh. Read that Doyle cost Wolves 4.5 million. Is said to be on 10 grand a week. So a cheeky bid. That's when I say that's not true, it's certainly not true about his wages. He's on a lot more than that. He's on at least, well, nearly 4 times that. 4.5 million was the fee because he was a part X player in somebody who went to Man City and he went as part exchange. They valued him at that to get him right down so that Wolves could get more money and stuff like that. And it were an FFP thing. It's not a true reflection of his value. If we don't bring in Hamza, who do you think he'll be the most likely midfielder we bring in, Jimmy? Can we afford Doyle's wages? Up the Blades, up the Ramble, up behind the Ramble. I think if we can pay Brereton Diaz, we can pay Tommy Doyle. But it's just how much you want to fork out. Because, for example, say Brereton Diaz is on 50 grand and Tommy Doyle's on 40. These aren't accurate figures. Just because we can pay Brereton Diaz 50 grand a week, do we also want to bring in Tommy Doyle on 40 and commit to 90 grand a week on 2 players? Or do we think actually Hamza's on, say, 30 and we spread the risk a little bit? Shea Charles might be on 20, 25. Who do I think's most? I think Hamza is likely. I know what Scott's saying is, and it's gone quiet and he's training with Leicester. I'll be surprised if that doesn't happen, in all honesty. Wilder mentioned in his interview last night that Cannon was very close, as well as a player that he's not spoken about. So just wait and see what happens. Desperate for additions now, says Danny. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, up behind the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Hit the like button. Boys and girls. Thank you, pal. Yes, S17. He's on 10 grand. He's not. He's not, mate. Wolves won't sell Doyle cheap. City have a 50% sell-on clause, says Scott. And then they were updating it with 2-0 Burnley. It then went to 3, didn't it? Doyle was on 30 grand a week at City, so I'm guessing it's higher now at Wolves. Thank you, Danny boy. If new owners are dipping hand in pocket, surely they will cover that. Will be a nice signing with the option at the end of the season. It would, wouldn't it? That'd be ideal for us. Hi, Jimmy says, Sonny, hiya, mate. Hope you're okay. Thank you for the support. I'm not sure. I knew we had a small squad and a couple of injuries would tank us, so plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G should have been sorted. You're just disappointed, aren't you, Jack? You're disappointed with how we're doing. Just joined. What's happening with Cannon, says Sheila. Sit tight. Sit tight. 3-0 now, says Liam. We're still 2 points ahead of Burnley. Leeds need to do us a favour and beat Burnley. Do you think? Yeah, probably do. It'd be interesting to see, won't it? Obviously, we need to do our job first. And then we'll probably be cheering for Leeds on Monday night on Behind the Ramble. Fleming hat-trick in half an hour, says Jack. Fair play. Paul Rose, win Friday, and then we can sit here and debate what result we want on Monday for Burnley v Leeds. Absolutely right. Paul Rose, a supporter of the channel, not only a Rambler, but he's also a sponsor in Wellstone Landscapes. Give him a shout. You'll get 10% off any quote. 3-0 to Burnley, absolutely shocking defending, says Dublin Blade. It ain't a negative, but it does worry you that Burnley are smashing Plymouth 3-0 in 30 minutes, but Plymouth held us to 1-0 until a pen. No, it doesn't worry me, Jack. It doesn't worry me at all. How many points did we get for that game? Same as Burnley are going to get tonight, mate. So, honestly, we're doing more than enough. Plymouth down and out, says Scott. These results tonight show how important Watford and last night were for us. That's true. Can't take Burrows off pens, even if we get Cannon in. I agree with that, Matt. It's a little bit like performing well into it in the shirt or scoring in open play. If you've got the shirt you can keep and you do really well, you keep the shirt. 2-2 for Burrows from penalty spot. No reason to take him off. Leeds are in second gear, says Jack. Burnley have +3 more goals than us at the minute. Yeah, but they're playing Leeds for a start on Monday night. That might change. And they're not other than tonight, obviously. They're not huge goal scorers, are they? I think they were 20th in the league in terms of XG going into this game. So chances created, basically. Goal scoring chances created. So there's 18 games to go. We were in 5th gear last night, says Chris. I'm not sure about that. I think Leeds and Sheffield United will go up. Sunderland worries me, says Jack. You think Cannon will be in for Friday, pal? Yes, I do. Yes, I do, mate. 4-0 Burnley now. Oh, my goodness me. You've got to think we've got to play Leeds and Burnley. Yes, we do. Yeah, we do, which can positively, you can look at it positively. And 5-0 Burnley. Oh, all right. We'll maybe start to think about goal difference. Plymouth can't wait for half time. Oh, my word. Yeah, we've got to play Leeds and Burnley, says Chris. We have. And that Leeds have to come to us. And that's going to be a completely different story to Ellen Road. It don't mean we're going to beat them. It don't mean they're not going to beat us. But wash your mouth out, Jimmy. We can't be cheering on them lot up the road at Weeds. I know, but you've got to think of the bigger picture, haven't you, sometimes? Can you tell my dad, Chris, to be more positive? Says Matt. He's the most negative Blade there's ever been. And that's saying something. No, honestly, Matt. Do you mean Chris the Blade? Let me know which Chris you're talking about, because I'll shout him out. But there are a lot more negative than the people in this chat. Don't you worry about it. I've seen him online. David Webster, who's been on the Ramble a few times, giving his opinion, and that's what it's here for. We're an open forum. But he was slating Wilder again last night as we went top of the league. He's commenting under his interview on Sheffield United YouTube channel. Ridiculous. Whittaker sat on the bench. Manager not put him in the squad, so obvious fallout. He can play on the right wing. I think a bit of 7 or 8 million with a promotion bonus might seal it. Can offer us something. Send Raksaki back for me, says Danny. I don't think we're going to have all this money to just chuck him out, Danny. I know we are heavily invested in Tom Cannon, but I don't think we're going to be frivolous with it. Is there much of a difference between Raksaki and Whittaker? Whittaker's had a poor season. It's not one for me. Maybe in the summer, when you're looking at plucking names from the Championship that could have an impact longer term, maybe he's one to go for then. And if he's falling out with manager, and it might be a little bit cheaper, but it's not for me. 5-0 to Burnley. Just worried if we're pushing our lads to the limit without additions. We are a little bit, Danny, that's fair. We're walking a fine line. We've lost so many to injuries. They really need help. I agree, the right deal, right player. But yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point. Whittaker's off to Burnley, says S17. And if they want to pay big money for him, they can do. Feel for the Plymouth fans. The owners have truly robbed them this season. I tell you what, we robbed them. 2 million quid for Michael Cooper. Daylight robbery. And with signing Whittaker, it keeps him out of the rivals' hands. He's young and can improve. I understand your point, pal, but I don't think we'll be throwing that sort of money about elsewhere. Whittaker claiming dead leg smells like BT flu. It does smell like BT flu, Scott. You're right. I think I'm the most negative Blade. Thank you very much. I love being proven right. You're not, Jack. I think you get a bit nervous about things, don't you? And it's understandable. Plymouth, certain for relegation, giving them goals. Burnley aren't that good. It's just Plymouth are terrible, says Action Location. Put a spanner in the works for PP Parker. Okay. For the signing Whittaker, you mean? In one game, they've gone from goal difference of 22 to 27, 6 behind Leeds. We need to start and think of it. Oh, we just get a point in front of them. Oh, yeah, Mr. Webster went in on me all day today telling me I'm delusional because I support us. Don't let it dampen your positivity. And even if you agree with him, there's ways of expressing it, I think, isn't there? We're top at league or we're in the automatic race. We're fully in the title race here, aren't we? Hey up, Jim says, J29, my tactical thought is BBD and Campbell up top with Gus and Peck in the middle, McCallum left midfield and Callum right midfield. Thoughts? Would love that, pal, but Gus is suspended. I'd love to have Gus because if Gus is there, then you don't have to drop Brooks into midfield. But no, it's no Gus, unfortunately, for next 2 games. Neil says, easier said than done, but if we just keep winning, goal difference doesn't count for a thing. Well said, Neil, and that's right on both points. Is Whittaker worth 10 million because they have to give Swansea a big chunk of any sale? No, I don't think he is. I don't think he is at the minute. I hope Leeds beat Burnley. Obviously, I want us to win the league, but I'll take second, says Matt. Go and spend some time with the missus, mate. I'll see you for 90 after 90. I'll be back soon, don't you worry. I'll be back soon. Sooner than 90 after 90, I would think. We had the same goal difference as Burnley before kick-off of the Plymouth players gone home, says Chef Paul. No, it's not Chris the Blade, but that would have been funny if he was. Nige says, Cooper wouldn't save them tonight, pal. Honestly, I've never seen this type of defending in my life. Literally gifting Burnley the win. That's true. Just stay a point in front of them. Night, Jimmy lad. Good night, Danny. And good night to everybody that's joined us tonight. Thank you for your time. That's me at the end of the comments. I think we're... I fancy us again on Friday night. I was right with my Norwich prediction. I was wrong with my Swansea prediction. I said 1-0. Obviously, we did win by the 1-goal margin, just about in the end. I'm going to say 2-0. 2-0 on Friday night. We will be at triple point before the game. Keep your eyes peeled for the new Ramble merch that's coming out very soon. Yeah, keep it Ramble. And but for now, come on, you red and white wizards. Of the blade!